Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies, and we are reviewing the new season of Chucky. It's the third season, and it was
terrible,
weird,
awful, just like we expected. It was really no surprise, because here's the thing. Season 1, it started off like it would be pretty good. It had a really good pull. It had a really good hook into the story where you have this kid and he just happens to be gay, and he is bullied a lot, and then he has a Chucky doll, and the Chucky doll tries to turn him into a killer, and it's like, wow, that was actually like a really good idea. Like a really, really, really good idea. A really good start to the show. Like the first 3 episodes, pretty damn good. But then it became trash. It became an agenda show. Just terrible agenda show. It became a mess. A really big mess where they just... a ton of clumsy errors and really stupid choices, like when they were in the finale, when they were going to kill off that Kyle character with the stupid bomb, and then people like us complained, and so they had to change it. And then in season 2, they had a really strong pull with like, oh look, these kids are at this religious place now. We did figure out that they were going to have the agenda bullshit there because how could they resist? It's a religious school, so, we gotta have all the agendas about how, like, we don't need to go through that again, but it had a really strong pull. Like, it was really, really good for the first, 3 to 4 episodes, and then it became bad again, and it just became a huge mess. It got terrible, it was stupid, it got really stupid. And I feel like this season, it's the same thing. Like, it started off and, even though there's this story here that is actually pretty interesting where the last Chucky doll ever is in the White House. And how are they going to get this doll? And you have this kid in the White House, and he really loves the doll, and he thinks that ghosts are haunting the White House, and probably ghosts are killing people or influencing people to kill themselves. That's a really actually good story, I guess. It's a little fantastical, but it's a good story idea. But we know what it's going to turn into, and it already did turn into that in the second half of this episode. It was so gross. I was almost like, Safi, we don't have to review this, Like, we already have enough stuff to do. We don't have to review this stupid agenda show with this heavy-handed gay bullshit that we don't need to see. Because here's the thing. Like, up to this point, Lexi, she had a little bit, of a relationship in season 1. But ever since then, she's had nothing. And it feels really, kind of like the creator is just, servicing himself by putting in this weird, gross shit, this agenda shit. It's like he's just putting it there for his own benefit, right?
I don't know.
Right, Safi?
They actually did not show very much of Lexi, and we had determined, I think, the first season, that she was the best actress, or the best actor.
She is. She's the best actress in the show. Her and Chucky are the best ones.
Right.
And it was funny too, because in season 1, she had more chemistry with that guy. What do we call him? Gay Jake? She had more chemistry with Gay Jake than she did with that random guy in season 1. What was that guy? Trent or Trevor or
he wasn't.
What was that guy? That stupid guy who got killed, and I got really happy that Chucky killed him. She had more chemistry with Gay Jake, which was ironic, and so, but we're not to that part yet. We're not to the cringeworthy throw-up part of the show yet. We're we're just going to talk about the White House stuff now. Safi?
Okay,
For starters.
Okay, well, we're at the White House, and it's President Collins, his wife. They have a little boy, and he has a Chucky doll, but he doesn't call it Chucky. He calls it Joseph. And then he has an older brother who's, I think he's like a junior in high school or senior. He's older. And at one point he had a little brother or older brother or a twin, who knows? We don't know. And he died somehow, but that was way before. But they mention it. I'm just saying. So they're in the White House, and he has been very upset, the little boy, because he says he keeps hearing ghosts telling him they're all in danger and they're all going to die. And it could be that Chucky's whispering in his ear. I don't know. It
is. I think it is. But here's the thing, too. I will say this as well. I'm getting really sick and tired of these stupid parents who tell their children that ghosts aren't real.
I didn't like that either.
Because, like, who are they fooling? Like, why is this, like, it hasn't the society, the American, or just in general, hasn't society moved on from the whole, like, old-fashioned, like, ghosts aren't real. I'm gonna pretend like, even though ghosts are real, I'm gonna pretend like ghosts are just fantasy. You know, like, hasn't society moved on from that yet? Like, is that still, like, a thing of, like, these idiot parents who, they tell their children that ghosts aren't real? Like, especially when you're in the White House, and the White House is, like, one of the most haunted buildings.
Well, it's a very historic place, too. It's old.
Yeah.
How could you even discount the fact there could be ghosts? I mean, I'm not.
I saw the ghost of the Child's Play franchise. You know, back when the Chucky franchise was good and it was actually written well and it wasn't just a gay agenda show. You know, like back in the olden days, like there was a little hint of that in this episode. It was like seeing the ghost of Child's Play past. Like with the kill in this episode. I won't give it away yet, but there's a moment where I was like, that was really, really cool. It's too bad that the rest of the episode wasn't like that specific moment. Safi?
Yeah. Well, anyway, what's really funny, there was several things. Marco's just focusing on one thing, but there were a few things about it that really bothered me, or just stuck in what do they call it? Stuck in my crawl, which means it irritated me and made me feel negatively. Well, the older boy smokes pot, and the Secret Service agent, who's, they all have Secret Service agents guarding them, like when they go to school, they go with them and follow them, and then when they pick them up, etc. So anyway, he said, he was smoking pot in his room, I guess, and the guy says, the Secret Service agent says, you're really putting me in a problem. And he said, "Oh, come on, it's okay, don't worry." And
yeah, it's okay because marijuana should have been legal like 30 years ago.
Well,
so
whatever. What's funny is he's having a little bit of a fit, and this doesn't make sense because they have to know I would think, from my experience about reading about them and just all these years, that they know everything that all of the family is doing. In the next room, the parents are there in bed. They're smoking. They're doing bongs. They're smoking out of those glass. When I say that, somebody doesn't know, glass tubes with and they're big pipes, huge pipes. They're smoking pot. His parents, the President Collins and his wife, are in the next room, and the Secret Service agent is worried about this boy, and
so what?
And the boy doesn't even know apparently that his parents are doing bongs. Well, it's just stupid. It's like, what kind of BS is this?
The point of it is that, in the second season, it was all about like, okay, let's go to this religious school so we can make fun of the Bible. and like have the gay kids kiss and have sex in this religious school. And so in this season, like, the whole thing is like, oh, well, let's have people do things in the White House that they shouldn't do either, because it's funny and because, you know, it's fun that we can do this stuff on a show. And it's just kind of juvenile. Like, I felt like watching this stupid Chucky episode, I was like watching the little kid show, and then I watched American Horror Story, which was like the adult show, you know, the grown-up show that was written by like people with maturity and who don't really have a weird agenda that they have to push on everyone constantly.
Their agenda is horror. So that's not really what Marco's referring to as an agenda, a negative or a forced upon agenda. That's what they do. Horror.
What are you talking about?
American Horror Story. But in Chucky, it's like,
no, I said American.
Horror.
No, I said American Horror Story is grown up.
Yeah.
And this was Chucky's like watching a children's show, basically.
I don't know what it is. There was just a few things that just blew my mind, and then.
Well, I thought that was funny. You know, it's exactly what you expected.
Funny.
Yeah, it's exactly what you expected. Like, next thing you know, they'll have I thought. Well, next thing you know, you'll have gay Jake and Devin kissing in the White House, and then that'll be a whole agenda moment where, you know, they focus heavily on that, you know, like they did in this episode. So, you know, I thought that was fine. So I don't know what you're talking. I don't know why you think it's stupid.
I because the Secret Service agent should know that his parents smoke pot too, but the kid doesn't know it. And they don't know. They know everything, all of them, about everybody in the family. They probably have meetings, staff meetings, like, what should we do now? How should we handle this? You know, in the morning, like before or after hours, who knows? Because they have to go home to their families too. So whatever. I just thought that was weird and ironic, and I didn't like it. And anyway, there was another thing too.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Well, of course they have to go. Now we've got to go back to where Jake, Devin, and Lexi are living. And they're living with...
Well, they're living with the stupid biology teacher, and so basically, it's kind of like in Matilda, where, like, you know, Matilda got to live with Mrs. Honey, and then her life was just a fairy tale after that, because she's perfect, and they're just living a perfect little fantasy world, and so this is kind of the same thing. It's like these kids, they're living in this little naive fantasy world where they think that their biology teacher, like their cool biology teacher, could adopt them magically. Like 3 kids, and she's a single mom. I mean, what the fuck is up with that? Like, why would the adoption agency let a single mom adopt 3 children?
Well, maybe that
like, that is just terrible. That is awful. And it's just this weird, like, thing where it's like, you know, she's the cool mom. She lets Lexi be a little whore on social media, on TikTok, do her TikTok bullshit, and she lets gay Jake and Devin have their little thing that they're doing, and it's like, oh, she's the cool mom, and it's like, I really hate this. It's like fan fiction. It's like you can't even take it seriously. It's like, this is just, it's a joke. It's like a Hallmark movie. It's like, it's just terrible.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that's what had happened. I didn't hear that for some reason.
Oh, anyway, yeah, you didn't hear it, yeah.
Yeah, but Marco said that's what was going on, and what they showed was, I don't know what's been going on for them since they were last shown on TV. You know, I'm talking in terms of the story. But she gives them like a test, and to see where they are in their learning. And apparently they're all behind than what their other classmates are working on presently.
Yeah, go figure.
And so, what have they been doing all this time?
I don't know.
And I mean...
I guess they just do whatever they want because she's the cool mom.
But, I mean, they were at that religious place. They didn't do any work there either. After what happened there, that they didn't go to school or
I don't
have
know.
any home education.
I really don't know.
Like from then until now?
Well, because it was weird. They treated it like this was right after the second season, but it wasn't.
Well, it couldn't have been.
No.
That's what I mean. There's little cracks in the veneer, and it's we've had this too, where there's been these kind of like plot holes or in a story, and we've tried to explain it by coming up with our own story, which is absolutely asinine because we're not getting paid to tell the story. They are.
Yeah.
And this was it's like disruptive because it just isn't real.
That happens so many times nowadays where like we have to come up with the story that because they don't want to. It's too hard for them. Just stuff just happens. We're not going to explain how it happens or anything. No, you have to do that yourself.
Okay, well, so the thing with Lexi, which they hardly showed her at all, which...
She does this weird thing where she goes on TikTok, and honestly...
She does weird stuff.
That was very realistic, and so, she goes on TikTok, and she dances around like a whore, and then she says, now I have your guys' attention. I'm going to talk about my missing sister. And
who's been missing since Christmas. Her name is Caroline.
It was so hilariously bad, like just... I'm going to dance around like a slutty stripper, and then I'm going to say, oh, and now I have your guys' attention. My sister is missing. Like, that's so stupid. Like, you honestly think that, like, a teenage girl, like, that has a missing sister, you think that she's going to do that? Like, I don't think that at all. And I don't think that she would get any more attention by doing that and talking about her missing sister.
Well, she doesn't need to do that. They've actually had things on YouTube or, let's say, Lifetime movie representations of something that really happened. I can think of one that somebody in the house watched recently where the girl was with her sister, and I'm not talking about a young girl like Lexi, but an older girl.
Yeah, like, even Kim Kardashian, like, you think if Kim Kardashian, one of her stupid, ugly sisters, goes missing... You think that she's going to release a sex tape, and then at the end of the sex tape, she says, oh, hey, guys. Oh, we're done with that now. Actually, guys, my sister is missing, and she really needs to get back right now so that she can get more ugly-ass plastic surgery. Like, you think she's going to do that? No. She would,
just get on there and say, my sister's missing.
Yeah.
Help to find her.
Like, that was stupid, but it was obviously just done for the comedy, but still, it was very stupid.
It was just weird. And there's a lot of weird things.
Weird.
And then, I don't really want to talk a lot about this.
Why?
It was offensive to Marco and me because it's unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
Jake and Devin.
Yeah, see?
I can't even say anything. I just, even if it was
gross.
A straight couple, we don't need to see it.
Well, we don't need to see it
show.
Because there's no point. Like,
it doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't help, it doesn't enhance the story.
And also, normally in, like, movies, like, for adults, with adults in them, you can say, like, oh, well, at least they're attractive, and so, someone's getting something out of this scene. But the thing is that these are children. And other gay children aren't going to watch this show and get turned on by this scene. So the only thing that you can really think of is that the creator is getting turned on by this shit. By seeing these children make out with each other on the show. And I think it's disgusting. I really think, it's unnecessary. Like, they don't have to do this. It was just put there to piss people off and to make people say, you know what? This is an agenda.
But it has
and
nothing
it's
to do
gross.
with Chucky.
Yeah.
That's what it irritates me. I don't like it. Even if it was Lexi and a boy making out on a bed and
we
talking
did.
about what next step they're going to take.
We did. We complained in season 1 when they did that, when Lexi did that in
I don't want to see it for
episode 3.
Thing. It's not. I'm not against gay people at all. I don't care. It just does nothing. It doesn't further the story.
No.
And it's a limited amount of episodes, so they have to use their. It's like having a budget. They have to use their time wisely, like a budget. And so they're doing a Chucky story.
Here's what
Stop doing this.
Yeah, here's what they can do. You start off the scene. They've already been kissing. They're kissing together like for 2 seconds, and then they stop kissing and they talk. That's what you can do. That would be fine. But instead, what they do is they're kissing, they roll around. It is so cringeworthy too. Like, if I were either of these actors, I would be so embarrassed. Not because of it's gay, but because it was so badly done. It was so badly, like, it was really cringeworthy. Like, they're reenacting the Titanic, and then they're saying, like, oh, we're gonna didn't they say they're getting ready to have sex or something?
Yes, they did. They're like, are they ready?
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop, please stop. And
like,
it's actually
cringe.
They did get stopped because
Cringe.
What happened was he got a call from Chucky then, or he got a call, and it was Chucky. Is that when he got the call?
I can't remember because
Well, something happened where they got a phone call, but we can't get on that yet because we have to go to something in the White House. Because I thought they got the call after that happened.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But
anyway,
just start off. They kiss for 2 seconds, and then they stop and they talk. Like, that's all you have to do. You don't have to do this weird agenda shit where it's like, who is this for? Like, who is this for? Like, the middle-aged weirdos who just pretend that they like this so that they don't seem homophobic. Like, because that's the only people who, like, defend this shit are, like, these Chucky fanboys who just pretend that they like this stuff so that they don't seem homophobic. And it's like, I don't care if people call me homophobic because I know that I'm not. And I know that just because I complain about this stupid shit on this show, that doesn't make me homophobic. I don't need to pretend that I like this cringeworthy shit.
Okay, so that's enough of that. Anyway.
And let's get back to the good stuff, because honestly, the stuff in the White House, for the most part, it was actually pretty good.
Well, that was another thing that I was upset about. But,
well, we know you're upset about everything, Safi.
They had to evacuate the family because
there was a power outage.
There was a power, but there wasn't a power outage anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just in their residence.
And I gotta say this too. They take them down to this bunker, and I gotta say, presidents don't deserve bunkers for safety. I think that, if you're a president, you should be a man and face the problem. Like, presidents don't deserve a bunker underneath the White House.
Well, I don't agree.
They need
years anyway.
They need to face their problems like men. They don't need to go cower and hide away in a bunker. They need to stay in the White House and face their problems.
Well,
they don't deserve a bunker, because I don't get a bunker. Marco. And presidents are not more than me. Presidents are not above me. They're just stupid people in suits that make decisions that, whatever. They're not above me. They don't deserve a bunker for safety.
Okay, well, I don't agree with that. But anyway,
because if
it's been there for a long, long time.
Well, if they do, then I deserve one too.
Okay, Marco.
And everyone else in the whole world does too. Just because they're a president doesn't mean shit. They don't deserve a bunker.
Okay, well, that's enough of that. But anyway,
They don't.
They go back and he forgot. How did this go now? He left the doll in his bedroom, the little boy.
What? That didn't happen yet. He took the doll with him when the power outage happened.
Okay, so they go back.
And I believe that's when Chucky was woken up, was in the elevator because he saw the blood. Wasn't it where like Chucky gets woken up when he sees blood?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No, I don't know.
Well, that's really helpful. Well, he sees blood because in the elevator, the dog, I guess, bites the one of the guards on accident, and then Chucky sees the blood, and I think that's when he gets activated. I think.
Could be.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So I'm not going to definitively say that he was.
Yeah, because we still don't know. The little boy says he's been hearing these voices about that they're in danger, they're all gonna die, and I'm thinking, well, that's probably just Chucky whispering in his ear, or Joseph. So.
And so the story ends up being like this president is all about transparency.
Yes.
He reveals everything.
And his oldest boy, makes fun of it all the time. He says, "You're the transparency president, so we all have to be transparent."
Yeah.
Mr. Transparency. I mean, he just goes on and on and on about, and it is kind of, I don't know. It's just ludicrous because.
Well, it's goofy because that
weird.
that would be a standard that no president could live up to realistically.
No, not at all.
Like, even if they wanted to be transparent, there's no way that they could realistically reveal everything.
No, they can't. Not for security concerns.
Because we've seen, with the JFK papers, like, they still won't release those because they don't want people to find out what really happened. And so, there's lots of stuff with that, like, that there's just no such thing as, like, a transparent president. And that's another reason why they don't deserve bunkers, is because they're a bunch of fucking lying bitches.
Okay, I don't agree with that, but anyway.
They don't. Like, maybe their family deserves a bunker because their family didn't decide to be the president's family, but the president himself doesn't deserve a bunker at all.
Well, let's just move on.
He doesn't.
All right?
Like, Andrew Jackson, he killed multiple people who tried to kill him. He stood up for himself. He was a renegade badass. He didn't need a bunker.
Okay, Marco.
He didn't need no bunker.
Oh, God. Help me. Okay, well, Okay.
Well, and then there's this part where he said the little kid, who I thought that the little kid did a really good job, by the way.
He did do a very good job. Really good.
He was very good. And he wanted his dad to take Chucky to the Oval Office.
Oh, yeah. Forgot. I didn't even write that down, but that was very interesting.
And I thought that was fun.
It was like that thing, the Stanley, where people get the flat Stanley and take them to work. Only this was Chucky.
Yeah. And then there's a certain point where the president leaves the room and Chucky sits in the president's chair and then steals a knife.
It's a letter opener.
Yeah, letter opener. Yeah.
Because they showed the president using it to open. I'm like, why is he opening his own mail?
And
that doesn't happen.
And then I think that really?
Yeah, well, they have.
Oh, yeah, because they can't.
Because of the people can put stuff in the letters, like chemicals and stuff.
Yeah, they could put Chucky seasons 1 and 2 in there. That would be really harmful, too. Wouldn't want the president to see that. And so, I think that's when he takes the Chucky doll and puts it in the kid's room. Or I can't remember, but the kid, he has this kind of sad story where, he doesn't really have any friends. And he lost his other brother, so I guess he had another brother as old as him, and he lost him, and then the security guard, or the Secret Service guy, he's like this kid's only friend.
Yeah.
And immediately in the show, he tells the security guard, please go check my room to make sure that the ghost of the Lincoln family isn't in there. Which I think it would be really funny and fun to see Chucky interact with ghosts in the White House. I really hope that they do that. Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be fun.
Like to see Chucky meet Abraham Lincoln's ghost.
Well, it's funny because the little boy knows quite a bit about the history. Oh, I know. He got a book in the gift shop about the different presidents. William Henry Harrison, who I think passed away in the White House. Like, didn't he get pneumonia or something?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But and then they
history class is over for me.
Well, they anyway, they talk about that at the dinner table, and I think they mentioned the Lincoln family, and I don't know. It's just funny. But anyway, since the doll's not in, the president thought it was really, he thought somebody had deliberately put Chucky in the chair.
Which I would, if I were working there, I would put Chucky in the president's chair.
And take a picture.
Because that would be funny.
But nobody did it. Chucky sat in the chair. We didn't see him either, but, that's what happened. And so, the president grabs him and says, could you? And then he tries to see if somebody put him there. It's a joke, and nobody did. They didn't know anything about it. And so anyway, he ends up going, they put him back, the Secret Service agent puts him back in the boy's room. So then something really terrible happens.
I already was saying that the security guard, he checked the kid's room, and I really love this scene because it reminded me of old Child's Play movies. And I really gotta say, like, even though the series sucks and it was a huge wasted opportunity, like, they fumbled every season so far so many different times. Even though that's the case, there have been some really good kills and some really good old school slasher movie moments, and this was one of them. Chucky, he takes the security guard's gun and he points it at his head and he blows his brains out.
It's a Secret Service agent, but that
was amazing.
But right,
I love that.
Though, he had Chucky had taken the letter opener, and I think he stabbed the guy first.
Yeah.
But not enough to do anything bad. And then somehow he got the gun and he shot him in the head.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was awful. That's a Secret Service agent.
I give that an A++. Like, that moment alone, it's just like with Friday the 13th 4, the one that we didn't know what we were talking about. If the whole episode was like that one moment, I'd give this episode an A+.
Well, the thing is, the Secret Service agent is there to protect the boy, and he has a boy at home too. He has a family, so I just didn't care for that.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
I mean, if you look at it as, another one of Chucky's victims.
It was a shock death because they did the same thing in episode 1 of the series where they killed the abusive dad, and then they did the same thing in season 2 where they killed the little kid. Remember? With the bomb.
Oh.
So they have to start off every season with like a shock death. And I was shocked because I thought that he would be in the rest of the season as a friend to this kid, which I think is really unfortunate. He lost someone else now, so there's no way that he's going to want to give up this doll. That's the story here, is that he's lost all these people. He's a really lonely kid. The doll is like his only friend. And like, you know what? That's a good story. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, though, where the show becomes a mess again, unfortunately. Because another thing is, they have a limited amount of episodes.
Right.
So, at a certain point, they have to rush and they have to make everything a mess.
Plus, Marco said they're going to do a thing where they show 4 and then take a break. Take a break. And do the other 4 a lot later, like months later. And I think it's because of the strike, because they're doing the same thing with American Horror Story. I don't know why they're doing that, but I'm wondering if it had to do with the strike they just had. So
I think so.
I guess that doesn't really matter, but they are going to do this break. And so the next, Chucky now has 3 more episodes to do until that happens. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Well, I would say the only problem I had with this White House story was I didn't really like the lighting. I felt like, for the White House, this is very dark and dreary. Didn't you think that it was kind of like overly dark?
Yeah, I did. And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
You're talking about it is an historic place, but they have had to make improvements.
Yeah.
To keep up with the, internet, stuff outside. They along the way they put a bowling alley in the basement.
They took that out. In fact, I think that let's see, what piece of shit president took out the bowling alley? What president took out the bowling alley? Yeah, they did because they consider bowling old-fashioned. Who did it? Whichever president this is, they're automatically in the top 20 worst presidents.
Oh, come on.
Let's see.
It was added by Nixon in 1973.
Yeah, see, Nixon, he was a bad president, but at least he added the bowling alley. Oh, it was Obama.
I can't believe
of course.
That. Why?
Of course. Oh, he wanted a basketball court instead. What a piece of shit.
In the basement?
What a piece of shit.
I think that's
okay.
A mistake.
That's the worst decision he made as president for sure.
I would say so. I can't believe he did
Taking
that.
out the bowling alley. If I became president, I would say, you know what? I'm adding 2 bowling alleys.
I don't know if you could do that.
One for me and then one for the Secret Service.
That's silly. Anyway, so that terrible thing happened, and then guess who calls Jake? And when he calls him,
he uses a number that is 000.
All zeros.
0000000.
And they're like, my God, and so they try to figure out where he's calling from, and then the TV's on, and then they see, because they talk about the first family, with the thing where they had to be evacuated, and then they came back because of the power thing, and they see the boy holding Chucky.
Yeah, and that's when they know. And this is where I didn't like it as well, was because these stupid 3 kids that honestly I don't care about anymore, they're like, we're going to have to get into the White House. And it was like...
Good luck with that.
Well, you know that they're going to find a way and just...
I know. It'll be interesting to see how.
Cartoonishly weird way that they'll probably find. So I would give this... This has the potential to be the most outrageous, ridiculous season yet.
Yeah, that's what you would... And it's not really... I'm not going to say bad. And of course, you can't judge anyway the whole rest of the season.
Well, you can because you know that, like, they haven't really made any improvements.
I hope they have. But anyway,
they haven't because of that agenda scene.
Well, maybe they won't be able to do that anymore. But anyway, who
no,
knows?
Safi.
But anyway... let's just all hope for the best, okay? That's all we can do.
Well, that's what I did in season 2, and then it became really, really bad.
They've had now 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Or 2 to come to the 3rd. And this thing with the White House is really... I don't think anybody's done anything with that before. I could be wrong. I know there's been action shows where they had to get rid of terrorists, but this is not that. This is horror at the White House, and you've already had something horrible happen to one of the Secret Service agents who has a family, but also the little boy liked him and he talked to him.
They should make like more horror stories set in the White House.
I don't know.
Well, they did American Horror. They did American Horror. season 10,
Yeah.
double feature.
Oh, that. Well, that was historical. That was interesting. That was really good.
So I would give the episode. It's too bad because the agenda scene, it really sours the taste of the whole episode.
Yeah, I just have to pretend like it didn't happen.
Well,
which is
you
very
can't.
hard to do.
You can't pretend because it happened.
I know.
So I would give if the agenda scene wasn't in the episode, I would give it a B plus. But the agenda scene is there, and it is quite possibly the worst agenda scene so far in the series. Possibly. And that's being just... So I have to give the episode a C minus.
Well, I'll give it a C, and I feel the same way. I wasn't happy with killing the Secret Service agent. I don't know how they're going to avoid that anyway. I hate to say that, but it is Chucky, and somebody's going to get killed. What's he going to do, kill the president? I just don't see that
Probably.
happening. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Or his wife, or the kids, the teenage kid, the little boy. I mean, I just don't see that. And then how does finding that girl, Lexi's little sister, how is that going to figure into the story? And then they did show a little bit of scenes from next week, and I think they showed, because it went real fast, and I'd like to actually see it again, but they showed that gambling woman. I can't even think of her name. I haven't seen her in a long time. You know,
The gambling woman. That's what you...
his lover, and they show her again.
Her story is probably going to suck again.
It could be that she has the little girl, because I'm just trying to figure how.
I can't even remember because it was just so bad last season.
Well, I don't remember.
At the end.
I didn't know she disappeared. So
I remember that at least.
I don't remember that, and I was a little bit. And here they are. It's like nobody cares except for Lexi. In other words, the lady they're living with, or that should be a priority for everybody.
No, she's the cool mom.
Well, you can be the cool mom and worry about... I mean, the girl was a lot younger. She was a little girl.
She's too worried about their test scores.
Oh. Whatever. They weren't very good. They have a lot of catching up to do, apparently. So that's why I said, what have they been doing all this time?
I don't know.
So anyway, we'll be back later for our review of the episode 3 of American Horror Story. And remember, next week will be the last one, and then there'll be a break. And then they'll show the other ones, right?
No, there's 5 of American Horror.
Oh, and then...
5 again.
Oh, okay. See, I mean, I can't... If they would all have like 10 or 12 or something, but they're all... Sorry about that. So anyway, we'll have a few more to do. So, we'll be back in a little while. So, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.